Something terrifying is about to happen. These aren't your average ribs. Oh no. As they slow cook for hours, they're slowly rising from the grave, turning into something far more dangerous. Legend has it that on a night just like this, these ribs were once part of a normal zombie ribs emerged, devouring your taste buds with every bite. Beware, for once you take that first bite, there is no going back. So the question is, will you be brave enough to try them? Hey there, everybody. It's Katarina. Welcome back to the channel. And it's spooky time, you guys. I am so excited to be here today and once again cooking in my spooky kitchen. Today we are going to do the first of 7 weeks of spooky Halloween themed carnivore meals that you can have for parties or just regular get-togethers with your family, but they're all going to have a fun spooky theme to them. So today we are going to make zombie ribs. Zombie ribs. These ribs are going to be so tender that meat's going to fall off the bone like a zombie rising from the grave. So trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. Now, first things first, I have my oven set to 275. We are going to cook these bad boys long and slow. Long and slow. That's the key. 275. About 3 to 4 hours, give or take. We want that meat to just fall off the bone. First things first is we are going to season them up. Now, I don't do anything fancy. We're going to do some salt, we're going to do some pepper, a little bit of smoked paprika just to give it a little bit of extra flavor. And then we are going to put a delectable bloody sauce over top of them when they are finished. Well, all right. While these ribs are transforming in the oven, let's talk a little bit about why slow cooking them is the key to getting the zombie ribs just right. Now, slow cooking isn't about just letting the ribs cook low and slow for hours. It's actually science. When you cook meat at a lower temperature over a longer period, something magical happens. The collagen in the meat, which normally is pretty tough when it's cooked quickly, has time to break all the way down. Because collagen is what gives the meat that tough, chewy texture, when you slow cook it, it turns into gelatin basically, which, is soft. And it's going to make that meat incredibly tender and very, very juicy. That's why with these ribs, you're going to see the meat is just falling off the bone like a zombie rising from the grave. It's basically just melting the meat away, which is why I named them zombie ribs. Another great benefit though of slow cooking is that it's really going to lock in all of the flavors. By cooking at a low temperature, the meat has time to absorb the seasonings and any juices. That's going to make every bite packed with a lot of flavor. So while it might take some patience, trust me, it is worth the wait. When these ribs come out, they'll be spooky good. And with all that collagen having broken down perfectly, it's going to give us that melt in your mouth texture that we are really looking for. Stick around, because here in just a few minutes, we're going to be making and adding that bloody glaze and get these ribs ready for our feast. All right, it is time to get the glaze on these ribs. Ooh, they look delicious. So I just wanted to tell you real quick what this glaze entails. If you're not doing any of these things, then don't put them on your glaze. But I have a 1/4 cup of beef broth here. I have the powder broth because I haven't made my broth recently. So a 1/4 cup of this. This is a 1/4 cup of tomato paste. You don't have to do this. This is to give the ribs a little bit more of a bloody look to them. I also have paprika, which is a tablespoon of it. This will give it a bloody look. This is going to give it more of a bloody look. I don't do tomatoes or vegetables ever, so one time is going to be okay, but just don't do it, obviously, if that is something that you're strict on. I have also 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to give, it's this right here, to give it a little bit of an extra zing. This, of course, was the smoked paprika that I was using. And then I just used regular tomato paste. I'll end up throwing the rest of this away because I won't end up using it. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then, of course, 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to have a little bit of garlic added to mine, as well as some salt and pepper. Again, if you're not doing any of these seasonings, then don't worry about that. I'm actually going to start out, and I will move the camera over here, but we are going to start out by melting this butter in here really good. And then we're going to actually let that melt and bubble, and I'm going to add a little bit of minced garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and move the camera over so you can see better. We are just going to allow this butter to melt until it gets starts to bubble. I don't have a measurement for the minced garlic. I like a lot of garlic though. I don't, again, do it very often, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a good amount. And I'm going to stir this around, just kind of sauteing this garlic into this butter. Now I'm going to go ahead and add this 1/4 cup of tomato paste. Again, like I said, don't do it if it's not something that you want to, if you're not doing that, don't. And then the 1/4 cup of my bone broth as well. And I'm going to start to stir this around. Get this tomato paste mixed up really good. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and add the vinegar, which is, like I said, going to give it that little bit of a zing. I'm going to add the Worcestershire sauce. Keep stirring, and finally I'm going to add the smoked paprika. You see how that's looking really deep and dark? That's what we want it to do. And I'm going to actually let this simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes. And then I'm going to turn up the oven to 400 degrees. And we're going to actually glaze those ribs with this. And then we're going to go ahead and cook it again. The only thing I haven't added yet is a little bit of salt and some pepper. Again, you do this to your taste. If you're not doing seasonings, you don't have to do this. The ribs be good without the glaze. You know, you can also cover the ribs with foil to help keep the moisture in, but they turn out really good just like this. So we're gonna let this simmer. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna turn my stove up to 400 because it's gonna take a couple minutes for that to come to temperature. I'm gonna pull those ribs out so they can get ready for the glazing. Now I'm gonna actually give this a little bit of a taste just to make sure that it is good. And it is. It is delicious. So what we're gonna do now is we are gonna actually glaze these ribs with this sauce. Let me turn on the light so you can see. You can see that deep, rich color. We're gonna go ahead and glaze up these ribs. Really good. Look at that. Looks like blood, you guys. That is a feast for the zombies. Now, I just have to wait for this oven to get up to 400 degrees. Once it does, I'm going to put them back in there. Now, we are going to go ahead and cook them for about 10 to 15 minutes on the 400 degrees to just kind of bake that in there, and then we will be done. All right. The oven is up to 400 degrees. We are going to go ahead and put these guys back in. We're going to go for about 10 to 15 minutes just to kind of bake that sauce in there. I'll set the timer and I'm going to set it for 15 minutes. Actually, I'm going to set it for 13. A mid-range. All right, these guys are ready to pull out of the oven. I have gone ahead and turned it off and we're gonna check them out. Okay, here is the first pan. It's kind of dark. And here is the second one. All right, it's time for the grand reveal. These ribs are officially zombified, falling off the bone like a freshly risen zombie. Check it out. Look at those zombie ribs. All right, we're gonna plate these ribs up because you know the undead gotta eat too. Whether you're making these for a Halloween party or you're just craving something spooky, these zombie ribs are guaranteed to be a hit. If you're looking for some side dishes though that pair well with this, try some crispy bacon witch fingers. Video coming soon. Or a charcuterie board of spooky meats and cheeses. That would be fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the kitchen for this Halloween special. If you're feeling adventurous, definitely try making the zombie ribs for your next spooky gathering. And remember, you don't have to be undead to enjoy a good rib. Also, this is just the first installment of 7-week series on Halloween spooky videos, so be sure to check out the next one. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more carnivore recipes with a twist, and I'll see you on the next one. If I survive.